was good, y'all? It's your boy JD6 here with my man. Shout out to KC Sports Authority. Make sure y'all go check that podcast out, man.
You heard the man. And welcome into another episode of the KC Sports Authority podcast. Austin, JB, and Keegan with you here in this live edition, as always, here on Facebook, Twitter, and right here on YouTube, where you can like and subscribe to the show. We would greatly appreciate any of you out there that have done that already, and anybody else that is willing to do so. Go ahead and do that. You can give us a follow, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well at KCSA Pod. Fellas, coming off of an incredibly wild turn of events in last night's game, KU finds a way to force overtime, topple TCU in overtime 104-100 in a game that had you feeling just about everything. The best of this team, the worst of this team, the best of Darryn Peterson, the fears of missing Darryn Peterson. I mean, this game had just about everything. He hits the clutch 3 free throws at the end of regulation to force the overtime. Doesn't play in the overtime, of course, because we'll get into that. But Kansas finds a way to fight back in a game that TCU pretty much outplayed them majority of this game. Yeah. Initial thoughts, what do you guys want to start with this game? Do we start with the fact that Darryn Peterson played 32 minutes and had a career high, or
I think we start with
storylines?
We start with the fact that he played 32 minutes, had a career high, and yet he's not the hero of the game. Like he's not the reason we won that game. I mean, you can make all the arguments.
That's literally the thought I had. Like I was sitting here after the game last night thinking about it, and I'm going, man, I can't recall a time in sports where a player has such a large impact on the game and is so dominant, yet also you could argue is not the reason we win basketball games, because that's what it feels like. Darryn Peterson, incredible. Balled out last night, clutch at the free throw line, hit big shot. But this team is night and day different with him on the court versus with him out. And we saw that. I joked with you guys when I'd say he pulled himself out of the game.
He did.
With 2 minutes left because we're down 8. He looks at the bench, misses the ball being thrown at him. And, we texted you guys that, and Spencer's like, oh, well, this game's over anyway. He might as well. And then here we go. They stomp back. KU looks like a completely different team as soon as DP heads to the bench. And it's just wild to me that you could have a guy that, as good as he is, not that he's putting up pointless stats and he's stuffing the stat sheet and it's not leading to wins, or that he's not a winner, but this team – like Darryn Peterson's the reason they got to overtime, but I don't think he's the reason they won that game. And it makes no sense to me.
It's kind of wild. I mean, he has just been a roller coaster, like you said, of emotions, or at least caused a roller coaster of emotions for fans throughout this whole season. And I mean, man, we've been waiting for that game. We've been waiting for his plus 30-minute game. We've been waiting for his explosion and the way he was playing. I mean, 32 points, man. And if he had played any of the overtime minutes, you got to think he would have gotten a lot more points. He could have had that 40 burger. I mean, he could have set the record. He could have set the record for like all-time single game scoring.
He very well could. Like,
yeah,
he scores effortlessly.
It's insane. I mean, his shot looks great. I think overall, what we still see and why we still have this negative opinion overall about him specifically in this game is, yeah, he pulled himself out. I mean, he was dealing with issues again with his health, and it's just not something that I feel like the KU fan base can continue to stay silent on. I mean, there's been a lot of outspoken people already, but it's to the point where we have to fully accept that he is going to be a part-timer, that he's going to be an explosive guy when he's in. He's going to be missed when he's gone, but is he? I mean, I don't know, because there's still the argument of do we just become a better team without him on the floor? There's just so much to cover on that. But overall, I mean, we can't be upset. We won that game. I admittedly in our chat was calling us a trash team, and I was like, man,
Pessimistic JB came out last night.
Yeah, does anyone want to read the text? Does anyone have their phone they're not using to
Let me
record?
pull some things
Because
up.
I
mean, I'll be with you. I've been more back and forth on this year's team than I have ever on any team in the past. And Darryn Peterson. But let's see. Last night,
what did I say? I was
I
going
refuse to watch this trash team.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really blame JB for feeling that way in that moment because I think everybody felt the same way.
I do like Spencer's DP's like a Ferrari that runs out of gas. When he's going, he's going. But yeah,
it's one of those. I mean, that's a great analogy there.
Here we are. TCU can do no wrong offensively, but we can't rebound or realistically have any other shot creator outside of DP. JB, I just refuse to watch this. I love that. And then Spencer goes as far as say, and I like Mel a lot, referring to Melvin Council, but he's DeJuan Harris. He's realistically DeJuan Harris, but more aggressive. Bill Self's about to start Big 12 play 0-2 for the first time ever. This season is arguably worse than last year already. We might be a 10 seed if we're
That's
lucky.
what I said. I said we will be a 10 seed if we're lucky.
And this was right after TCU goes up, I think, like 8 or 9 in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Then I go, all right, Peterson just pulled himself out. Game's over anyway. Hate forcing up the stupid 3 that Trey White took. Then I said, wow, this team plays harder without DP. Oh my gosh, this game is insane. JB turned it on with 5.1 left. Saw DP drain the free throws. Man, if DP had made that last shot attempt, I think I personally would have had to submit a public apology to the kid on Twitter. Yep. Gotta love how the minutes restriction kid now has to help lead us to a potential overtime win. And then I immediately said, DP ain't a winner. He quit on the other guys when down 8. Then he came back in when there was a chance to win it. But I mean, that game was wild. Like again, KU
was insane.
Coming back, their intensity. I mean, seriously, their intensity picked up tremendously, and that some of it was still with DP on the court. But he goes out. You're down 8-9. It looks like the game's lost. Jabari McDowell comes in. Elmarco's in there, and they're full court pressing.
Yep.
And credit to KU's defense because they stepped it up. But TCU made a ton of mistakes down the stretch. Jamie Dixon had a horrible coaching 5-minute stretch there, not utilizing his timeouts, not subbing out for his guy that's clearly injured with the cramps, and Punch couldn't get anything going in the final minutes there. So MU is both sides, but KU stomps back, fights back. They're down 3 after, I think it was after a timeout or a dead ball or something. Here comes Darryn Peterson running back in. And it was just like, oh, you couldn't play the last few minutes, but now you're ready to come in and try to lead this team to victory. And, of course, gets the forced up 3 attempt, fouled, sinks the free throws, sends us to overtime.
I feel like I knew exactly that was going to happen.
You could feel it.
Sure.
You could feel it.
I was like, man, he's coming in. He's not coming in to not take a shot.
There's no way. At that point, there's no point in playing him unless you're running it through him for sure.
Before I saw him sub in, I was like, thinking to myself, man, this would be a perfect moment. Just bring him in. Screw it. He's our best shooter. He's our best. He's probably, I would trust him in a clutch moment, and he's our best shooter overall, and he's our star. I was just like thinking, put him in, coach, put him in. And he gets fouled, and I'm like, okay, let's see if you got that clutch badge in 2K and you can hit your free throws because man, we needed all 3 of them, and he got it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, the pressure, the guts on that kid to knock down those 3 free throws in that moment, insane. And they turn it over. We had a second shot with like 1.2, 1.7 on the clock. We had something like that, 1 second on the clock. I loved that he took the final shot. I was upset that he missed it, but like, man, as we were I thought we were about to witness history. And that's why I said, like, I'm going to have to, if he made that shot, I would have had to issue a public apology because, like, that would have been, like, his GOAT moment, his MJ moment. I hate saying that. His LeBron moment. I like saying that a little bit better. And because LeBron is clutch.
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Just for the record.
Get out of here with that. Whatever. LeBron has more clutch shots in his career than anybody.
He also has more clutch misses than anybody too.
Whatever.
But we can get into that another night.
Another discussion. That's another discussion. But I really thought, man, this would have been that moment. I'm bummed that didn't happen. I was looking forward to what we would have seen in overtime. I figured, hey, maybe he's got a second wind now that he came in, got us the overtime. Then he sits the entire overtime. But did we need him? I guess not. I don't know, because we gel better without him in some weird way. That's the other part of this conversation. It's not to say that we never want him to play again for us, but it's pretty spectacular what Melvin Council and crew can do when he's on the bench.
Yeah, it's like a night and day, light switch difference.
Yeah.
Melvin takes over as soon as DP goes out. So, like, Austin, I was going to ask you that. First off, does last night's performance change your viewpoint at all on the Darryn Peterson health situation? Like, did he do enough to squash some of the conversation for a while? I mean, I did not expect him to play last night. I figured he would have been a no-show after having the issue Saturday.
I thought he was going to be out for 3 weeks.
I figured at least one game, but he comes back after, having high minute usage Saturday, coming out of the second half. He looked better last night than he did on Saturday. I think just the way he was playing and running around. But did his performance last night, going out, coming back in, do enough to maybe push some of that frustration back a bit?
Sure, absolutely. I think fans have every right to react in whatever way. When DP decided to sub himself out and wasn't paying attention when that ball was coming right towards him, I mean, that definitely threw me off too, because in that moment you would just expect DP to catch the ball and then call timeout or whatever so you can go
and
out.
I think like a lot of people, he probably thought that it was tipped backwards and KU touched it, so they were going to blow the whistle.
Yeah,
poor awareness in the moment.
Yeah, just lack of awareness, and I definitely didn't expect that from him. I mean, just because of how talented he is and everything. But I mean, he performed very well last night, and like you guys have said, I mean, it's just that I'm running out of words to describe Darryn Peterson, because he truly is unbelievable, and his shot selection is ridiculous, and some of those threes, I mean, it's like we've been missing that for the past 2 seasons. We need a shot, a guy that can put up those types of shots for you, and he's been good, and hopefully he continues to get to feeling better, and seeing him not be on the injury report going into the TCU game just shows me that he's doing everything that he can to remain healthy and play, and I think he wants to be out there, and anybody that says otherwise, I have a hard time believing that, but I get it. I understand the frustration. I understand why somebody would say, DP just doesn't want to be out there or whatever. But at the same time, why would he want to willingly sit out and not play? It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, he didn't come to Kansas to sit out of games. And plus the kid's he's 18 years old, and, he'll be 19, I think, here in a few weeks, I believe. His birthday's coming up. So, I think that's towards the end of January, which is right around the time we play BYU. So I'm definitely looking forward to that game. But it's just, I think, fans, regardless of how you feel about it, I think we need to cool off on him, because, we got to put it into perspective. He's just an 18-year-old kid, and I get it. He's making millions of dollars in NIL money and stuff. I understand that, but we just need to put it into perspective. But yeah, I thought he played very well, and I think he did squash, some of the, offside conversations for now.
Can I say this? We have seen enough of him at this point with his skill set. He hasn't, yes, he played 32 minutes. He could have played more. Especially because of overtime, but I feel like he really could have played more. What did he do with 32 minutes was just about everything, right? He scored so much. I'm at the point where I'm fully convinced now. We've seen enough, whether it be a small sample size per game or whatever. He really is the best freshman that we've had since I don't even know when. I mean, Bill Self has said, and the commentators on every game like to point it out. Bill Self says that Darryn Peterson is the best freshman he's ever coached. And Bill Self loves to say that about certain guys seemingly every year. He's right. That's legit. I'm sorry. And I'm not the most tenured KU fan in the room, and I'm not ever going to be, but
he's statistically having the best
but
freshman's ever had at Kansas.
Even from even from the eye test. I mean, I've watched everybody, every star freshman, Andrew Wiggins, Joel Embiid. I've watched Josh Jackson. I've watched Ben McLemore. I mean, he had a redshirt freshman, but the same thing. I've watched so many guys, Kelly Oubre, Cliff Alexander. I mean, of course, those guys didn't really do as much. The point is, I am fully convinced he's better than all of these guys. He is just insane to watch, man. I hope that he can resolve his issues with his health, because what ultimately our goal is to get to a point where he can be just as effective as he's always been, plus the rest of the team can be just as effective as they've been with him off the floor. When you combine those two, I don't think there's a team in the country that can beat us. I really don't. When you combine how we play without Darryn Peterson, how we took control of that game, how we took care of business in overtime, combined with his expertise and his peak that we've seen in this game, I mean, come on. That's a recipe for national title. And we throw that around on this podcast a lot. We've joked that we would get 2 national titles in a row with Hunter Dickinson. Looking back, I wish we didn't say that on this pod.
No.
It's all right. Everybody was thinking it, though.
Everybody
was wrong.
This is the time when it actually feels legitimate. If we could just mold the two, right?
That's why, it's so wild how different this team looks with them on the court and with them off. And we definitely we're going to get into that a little bit more. I was trying to find, some statistics. I couldn't quite get what I was looking for, plus minus with him on the court versus off the court, all that kind of stuff. But just thinking to recent games, like just the intensity level they play at, I don't know if it's a Melvin Council thing, if it's a Trey White thing. Heck, it might be a Jamari McDowell thing on the court, because Jamari's been playing crunch time minutes during these comebacks. Even Marco's been out there. But like, this team is so different because they've played so much without him already that they just know how to gel together. And we said a couple of weeks ago that was the concern factors. When Darryn Peterson's back and healthy, we know he's going to be a walking bucket getter. I mean, the guy scores points left and right like it's nothing. Averaging close to 23 a game, scores 32 last night. I know a big chunk of that came from the free throw line, but he's getting to the rim, getting fouled, hitting those shots, hit a couple threes. Not the most efficient night, 8 of 18, but a guy that's going to be a walking bucket every time down the court. That if nothing's working, DP can go find something, and that's not going to change. But you can tell, like, the chemistry around him just hasn't quite gelled with him on the court. It's like either everybody just defers to him, just get out of the way, let him do his thing. The ball sticks a little bit. Flory doesn't know where to go. Bryson Tiller can't find his spot. And then you take him off the court, and it's just boom, Melvin Council downhill, move the guards around, Trey White attack, and it's just these guys step up. So we said, though, it was good for them to play without DP because it forces these other guys to step up. But it's just also crazy to think that the best player in college basketball, you could make an argument that from a team perspective right now, the team plays better when he's not on the court than when he is, because of just the mentality change. But quick shout out to our guy Bob, listening, watching from the hospital bed. Hope you're doing okay. Yeah. Keeping your thoughts and prayers on you. And if there's anything there you need, let us know for sure. But shout out Bob. Never misses an episode, no matter where he is.
Never misses.
Appreciate that. 104-100. This is back-to-back games now where we've seen Melvin Council take over down the stretch. Third time we've seen that in the last couple of weeks, where DP's out, Melvin Council takes over. You get 22 from Trey White, 18 from Melvin Council. Obviously, you had to have scoring from somewhere else because he scored 100-plus points. This team has 4 guys in double figures right now. I know that's not consistently all at the same time because that's Flory having some big games without Darryn Peterson. But offensively, this team is figuring it out to a degree. They still have their struggles defensively. Like right now, Bryson Tiller's nearly unplayable. Yeah. He's getting mismatched with quicker guys, struggling, still getting rebounds, but he's struggling defensively, can't find a shot offensively. Flory has been in foul trouble, so that hasn't helped. So I look at this lineup right now, I'm going, man, what's the best 5-man lineup we can throw out there? And I couldn't find the statistics I wanted for this right now. But the more I watch, even though it's not the prettiest offensively, the best 5-man lineup includes Jamari McDowell.
Oh, weird. That's
Dude,
so
he
weird.
hit a clutch 3 last night,
Yeah,
then
he
hits the 2 free throws. He is in on all these big time plays, and I think it's the defensive intensity first
It
off
is,
and the
yeah.
aggressiveness. But like right now, I'm almost thinking you go Flory, Trey White, Jamari McDowell, Darryn Peterson, Melvin Council, and that's your lineup. Cole gets whatever scrap minutes he can after. Bryson Tiller comes off the bench. You're not even seeing Jaden Dawson at all. Heck, we're seeing Simmy's Calderon over some of these guys in these minutes, and
I did not expect that.
so the rotation to me is still a mess. It's a question mark.
Yeah.
You don't know who your 5 best guys are at any given moment, especially with Darryn Peterson, because again, these guys just don't have enough time together to develop the chemistry for sure. But J2 Wills can't stay on, but never miss an episode. Keep up good work. Appreciate you. Thank you. Just come back and watch it later. That's all we ask for. Because this is live, but you can always check it out after. Bob Gallstones. Ooh, that sounds fun. And gallbladder. Ooh.
Yikes.
Rest up, bud.
Very sorry, Bob.
Watch plenty of podcasts next couple days.
Go back and watch our old podcast while you're in the hospital bed.
Go watch that. Yeah, you guys, if anybody hasn't, you can go back and look at our KU football episode. Austin and I last week talked KU football about Andy Kotelicki's return with our guy Daniel Courtwright from Kansas Nation. Go check that out. We'll have some more KU football stuff this week because my gosh, they're eating up in the transfer portal. We talked a lot in that episode about the uncertainty of the roster, especially defensively, and they've made some major additions already. So we'll save a lot of that conversation for another one. But again, this team, my next question I was going to ask you guys is like, how good is this team? Do we really know if they're a good team or not? Like, you can look at statistics, you can look at their net rankings, you can look at Ken Palm rankings. This team has stretches where they look really, really good. And then there's also, like, even last night, you're going, my gosh, can you guys defend anybody and not let open shooters hit threes and get some rebounds? So,
Oh my God.
I still don't know how good this team is with or without Darryn Peterson. I know they play hard. They play insanely hard without Darryn Peterson, but 11-4, 1-1 on the season. You almost, or 1-1 in Big 12 play. Should have won over the weekend, but you don't. You almost dropped last night. You're still a top 25 team. You know the potential's there, but I don't think we really know if this team's good or not yet.
Yeah.
I feel like we are a 6 seed with no Darryn Peterson. I'm trying to be as realistic as I possibly can.
Yeah, I think they can
without
easily
him.
be a top 6 seed without DP.
I mean, maybe even, 5 seed, maybe 6 seed, because I think at some point, while we do gel pretty well without him, we can be limited. If Melvin Council goes down, or if he gets in foul trouble, it's like, okay, now we're looking at Trey White. We're looking at Flory and Bryson Tiller trying to get looks inside, and it starts to look really ugly. And I do think there's I guess there's potential for more, but I'm trying to be as realistic as possible, and I would say about a 5 or 6 seed with no DP. With DP healthy, but not gelling well, we're still probably a 5 or 6 seed because it just seems like we can't figure it out. I mean, I might give us a 4 seed. With DP healthy, with us gelling well, with merging those two, like I talked about before, having DP dominate and Melvin dominate and Flory and Trey White all dominating at the same time, everybody firing on all cylinders, we are a national title contender through and through. I truly believe that. I mean, there's a lot of ESPN analysts and AP guys, all these guys online saying that this Kansas team is one of the most odd, peculiar, like hard to figure out team, but compelling, enticing, and exciting when things are really, really firing. So that's kind of where I'm at. I really think we're a title contender. Do I think that we can actually make it figure out? Or do I think we can actually get there and gel perfectly? I don't know yet.
Well, yeah, and that's
Don't
what
know
we
yet.
said last, or I guess our last episode we talked about was Darryn Peterson's got to play 3 or 4 games in a row where he's getting enough minutes that they can build chemistry because it's I
Yeah.
would say it's easier, but it's less challenging to build chemistry in practice settings than it is in real game time, up tempo, heat of the moment. And I think back to Saturday, like the comments post game, Bill talking about a minutes crunch, but then you're seeing reporters talking to the other players and they didn't have any idea about this or they weren't anticipating it. It's like there's still that disconnect of, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? How does it change my approach to the game when he's there? When he's not, again, when he's not on the court and they know he's not playing, these guys pick up their intensity. They just do. When he's on the court, it still feels like they rightfully defer to him because, yeah, he's the greatest scorer in college basketball, and we're seeing that. But it's like it's just night and day difference on their approach to the game when they know he's playing versus when they don't know. And that could come back to bite them later with that lack of chemistry. I mean, we saw that with the national title team. Remy basically sits out over half the season, can't ever get into a rhythm, can't really ever build chemistry. You don't know where his minutes are. You don't really know his fit with DeJuan. And then Big 12 conference play, like late conference play, Big 12 tournament comes, and then it's like, all right, Remy's coming off the bench and he's playing a large stretch of the game and he's just going to dominate offensively. And it took a long time to get there, but we saw obviously the potential with that was a national championship team. Darryn Peterson, completely different guy. I was listening to another podcast and I think they said something like he doesn't need to get into a rhythm. He just is like he's on the court. He's fine. You don't have to worry about him scoring. You don't have to worry about him having a bad game because we haven't seen a bad game from him yet. Again, it's only been 5 games he's played, but the fact that he can just get on the court and flip that switch on is fantastic. But the team still needs to figure out how do we play team basketball with Darryn on the floor, especially defensively. This team still struggles with switching, getting Flory and Bryson into rough spots, team communication defensively, which again, are you deferring to a guy like DP when he's on the court for that versus when he's off? Is it you just Melvin's yelling at guys to do this and do that? I don't know. I'm sure there's some back and forth between all of them, but I remember tweeting out after Saturday's game, despite the loss, which we should have won that game, the scene from Captain Phillips, where he's like, I'm the captain now. And it's totally Melvin Council because I think this is Melvin Council's team and everything runs through him, despite the fact that DP's our best player. But I don't know, guys. This team's just they're fun, they're wild. Trey White is again impressive. He's been when Trey White is on, he looks really good as a second or third option. And if all these guys are clicking around the same time, even if you're getting nothing from Bryson or you're getting nothing from Cole Rosario or even nothing from Jamari or Almarco, who we also need to talk about because he has a lot of empty minutes, But this team's potential still through the roof, and I'm excited to see how the next 2 weeks, as we said a couple weeks ago, they have a 2.5, 3 week stretch of the easier part of their Big 12 schedule to try and lock in and gel as a team. And as long as Darren's playing, you obviously would think the more he plays with them, the better they're going to look because it's a long uphill battle that back half. But let's talk about
Oh yeah, well.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, finish the thought.
I was just gonna say we still have Cole Rosario brewing on the bench. Like, we're trying to mold him and craft him into his full potential. We still have Jaden Dawson, dude. If he can get
alive,
get fully healthy, or
I don't know
healthy. What the deal is.
He's healthy.
I mean,
he's just not good enough to get minutes.
So that's kind of wild. You look back at the offseason, so many people, myself included, projected him as a starter alongside Melvin Council. We were like, maybe you got to choose between the two. How silly do we sound now being like, we were looking
non-factor.
He is a non-factor, but like he really can be. I mean, he has a great he might be the best shooter on the team outside of Darryn Peterson. Truly, like if you really look at it. He just hasn't really proved it yet on the court, obviously. So I just feel like we're a sleeping giant in so many ways. And Almarco, I think, we can add him to that conversation. He is somebody that he does the little things,
And
5
Grant,
steals in that
El
game.
Marco, yeah, he had a good game. He just doesn't bring much offensively to the table right now.
Yeah.
So if you need a scoring punch, you're not getting it from El Marco. But yeah, 5 steals last night. He was really solid in the last 3 minutes, all over guys, forcing turnovers. But offensively, he's just running around. He's not shooting. He's not looking to score. He's not even dishing out that many assists. It's just like, well, what are you doing out here? And if you're playing 20 minutes a night, whether DP's playing or not, you have to get some scoring punch out, or you need to at least have a threat that he can score. Because if we do run into a scenario where DP misses a game or two and Melvin's 4 for 18 for the night because nothing's dropping for him, and Trey White's in foul trouble, so he's not out there, you're not getting scoring from anybody else right now consistently. So yeah,
Right.
El Marco fascinates me. You can definitely see his potential. You can see where he's good, but that's why it also fascinates me that Jaden Dawson can't get on the court, because there are times where it's like El Marco doesn't offer anything to this squad that's on the court right now, whereas Jaden Dawson's at least a scoring threat. He's a shooting threat.
Yeah. I'd be interested
He's
in
found
playing
his
more
way out
Dawson.
of he's found himself out of the rotation somehow. Bryson Tiller, though, he's the next guy that could be. Again, Bryson he's had some really rough games the last couple of weeks. Now, last night I think he played a good game. He still struggled defensively at times, but still, I think he had 9 points, 7 boards, some big rebounds and clutch moments. But you can see how he's still developing defensively, and teams are picking him apart, getting him in bad switches. So he's had an interesting stretch. And again, Cole Rosario just feels like he needs to play a lot of minutes to get any sort of rhythm. But you can see the potential for sure. They've got some ways to go, but this team is fun. They are fun to watch. That is definitely something we have not been used to the last couple of years, that you don't know what team's going to show up the next game. Are they going to be terrible defensively for the first 12-minute stretch and play a tight game? Or are they going to come out firing all cylinders and locked in? Because if this team can find their defensive potential and lock in like they're capable of, this team can be scary. And March Madness is the toughest tournament to go win, but I do feel like this team's much more better suited to win one game at a time in that type of setting than last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we've got to approach Big 12 play, because every single game, and we've got 16 more of these, I believe. So, I mean, every single game is going to be tough. It doesn't matter if it's at home or away. I mean, you're going to get everybody's best shot. And I feel like that's what's happened, especially the last 2 seasons with Kansas. It seems like every single team that they've played, they've just gotten their best. I mean, TCU last night, I mean, gosh, I couldn't believe how many 3-pointers they made.
15 for 35. 43%.
Well, Pierre got all of them.
Yeah,
number
8.
I can't pronounce his name correctly, but number 3,
Lavicious,
whatever. I was just watching him,
Lavish,
three after three, and my first thought was, is he like the second coming of Ron Baker or something? I mean, this dude's unbelievable. I mean, he kind of looks like him too. So I was like, oh, he kind of looks like Ron Baker, and he's playing just as good as him right now. But my biggest problem with our defense is we keep switching up and we're not playing zone. It seems that way, but. I mean, we've got to play zone on defense, and we can't continue to switch up. Otherwise, we're going to put guys like Bryson Tiller in, these situations where he's getting, chopped up, like you said, Keegan. And I mean, giving up 100 points to TCU, the same team that lost to New Orleans.
Especially at home.
I mean, TCU is a good, offensive team. They're solid, but they had no business putting up 100 points on us last night. And I get it. We went into overtime, and that's a big part of it too. But I mean, we've got to get it figured out on defense right now, or it's going to be a long.
And Punch was good down low. It just felt like they were the aggressive team offensively, and we just weren't quick enough defensively to find a presence and keep them out. And again, a lot of their shots just felt like sometimes when you have a good night shooting, you have a good night shooting, and there were times where it felt like, all right, the KU's defense looks decent right here. They're just getting like Punch just got shots up over guys in the paint from 5-6 feet out that just oversized. He was still getting in. But yeah, it's the transition defense. It's the when the ball's moving from side to side and they're switching and they leave a guy wide open, they hit the three. It's well, yeah, of course they're going to keep hitting. And there were stretches of that second half where it's like, man, how is KU going to come back and win this game? Because TCU just can't miss. If they can't go through a 3-4 minute stretch of shutdown defense while also scoring the ball themselves, because I felt like a 12 to 13 point deficit at some point in the second half. So again, I still don't know how we're here 104 to 100 in overtime talking about a victory, because KU had no business winning that game outside of about an 8-minute stretch. But yeah, they lock in defensively. This team could be one of the best in the Big 12, which again, we've talked about. The Big 12 is incredibly deep. We've seen Iowa State looks really good. Arizona looks really good. Baylor's going to be good. They got their NBA guy
Oh my God,
playing the other night.
We have a chance to really set ourselves apart in the Big 12 if we can beat Iowa State.
Yeah,
that game is
that's
going to be a must-win.
Big matchup.
I feel good about it though. And honestly, looking at the schedule, it's not very favorable overall. But hey, you know what? That's the Big 12. I feel like as long as you can protect home court, that'll be a huge factor for us. Isn't Iowa State a home game for us?
Home and away. So we've got them at home first, and then we go to Ames on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, dude. That's both of those games
provide a little heartbreak.
Ooh.
Yeah, going to Ames last year though, that was a fun experience. But Hilton is very interesting. I think the environment's terrific, and they were playing that game last year during winter break, and all the students came back for that game. So I mean, wow. they weren't gone at all. And but I will say Hilton's kind of interesting from the outside. Like when you're looking at it from the outside, it looks like a foreign government building. That'd be the best way for me to describe it. But it is a terrific college basketball atmosphere.
Some more Darryn Peterson stats I was going to throw at you guys.
Sure.
6 games played. He's only playing 26 and a half minutes, as we all know, but he's shooting 50% from the floor, 43% from 3, 83% from the free throw line, and he's scoring 22 and a half points on basically 70% of normal starter minutes. So if he can be healthy and his legs can hold up and he doesn't lose steam in the second half, I mean, we've got to have at least 3 more 30-point games this year and probably 1 40-point game.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked. Actually, I was going to look at this too. I don't remember what his season low is 17. So he hasn't even scored less than 15 points yet in a game.
That's insane.
And we're barely scratching the surface with him. Obviously, the more he plays, the more he's going to have potential to score, which is why Spencer said it before that his big concern was his usage rate. When DP's playing, he's responsible for nearly 50% of the offense, whether it's 50% of the possessions end with Darryn Peterson taking a shot, turning the ball over, or assisting a made basket.
There was a graphic that ESPN kept showing during the broadcast how Darryn Peterson had like X amount of points in like the first few games of his career or whatever, comparing it to Michael Beasley at Kansas State and all these other big guys. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but just seeing that and knowing that he's only played 4 or 5 games now. I mean, that's insane. I mean, what else can you say about him? I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah, six games in, and they're talking like he's the best, that he might be the best Big 12 freshman since 2000, of the last 25 years. Which is, I will say, because Kevin Durant, insane freshman season. Blake Griffin, Michael Beasley, insane freshman seasons. Obviously, Andrew Wiggins had a pretty good freshman season. Josh Jackson, but if he averages north of 20 the whole season and keeps his team winning, and he looks like efficient doing it, he might go down as not just the best Kansas freshman of all time, but a finalist for top 5 at least Big 12 freshman ever.
I mean, he needs to the time is now, in my opinion, for him to solidify himself as that number 1 pick in the NBA draft. We've talked about that a bunch. I'm guilty of it. I'm really critical of just all the time that he's sat, and I'm like, man, if I'm an NBA executive, I'm not taking him number 1 overall. I think the time is now if he wants to actually cement himself as that number 1 pick. Lot of talent going into the NBA this year. Speaking of, I did want to get everybody's opinion on this. Am I nuts, or is Melvin Council playing himself into the NBA draft? Like, I don't know. Look, I understand there's a lot of guys that go through college and they're just dominant in college, and they are too small or too whatever to make an impact in the NBA. But Melvin, dude, I mean, man, he's had a year. We all know he's had a year.
I'm pulling up right now a top 100 list for the draft.
Does it show up anywhere?
DP's obviously number 1. Flory's at number 32. Oh, well, this one stops at 76, and he's not on there. I mean, I think you could make a case where you could see where Melvin could make the league. I think he's also one that could have a really good G League career, one that could also dominate overseas. His lack of like shooting upside consistency probably is gonna hold him back. But yeah, defensively, attacking downhill, the speed would all for sure translate. But my thought, gosh, I'd love to get Spencer's takes on this too for NBA stuff. The NBA needs to expand, which they've talked about. They need to expand teams because there's so many guys on G League teams and free agents right now that just can't make a 15-man roster or a 13-man rotation. That Melvin's one of those guys that, yeah, you could make a case for it, but who are you not putting on your roster right now in the league? Like Devon Dotson, not on a team anywhere. And again, I'm not saying Devon's, a great NBA player, but not on a team. Devontae Graham has had good NBA seasons, not on a team right now. Ben Simmons, not on a team. Cam Payne, a free agent point guard right now. Spencer Dinwiddie, a free agent point guard right now. Like, so there are guys out there that have either had success in the NBA that are currently not on a team because the league continues to get younger. Like you look at the Thunder. The Thunder have all this young crop of guards, and all these teams are going after these young 20 to 23-year-old guards now. That there's just not as much opportunity. So until the league expands, which they need to,
and they
have all these guys like Killian Hayes, another good example. Killian Hayes, top 7 draft pick, however many years ago, 5-6 years ago, tearing it up in the G League right now, but can't get on an NBA roster, and he's averaging 20 plus points in the G League and dominating. Well, I know the G League is a step down from NBA for sure, but the guard position I think is tough. You have to really set yourself apart to have a consistent opportunity at that level. Big men have a little bit more they can do because you got to carry it. You have to carry 3 or 4 big men in the NBA to go up against Giannis and Jokic, and Wemby, those types of guys. You have to have more bigs on your roster than you do guards.
True.
Yep.
Anyway, that was my NBA rant.
Sorry for the segue. I was just like, man, I could see him rising up draft boards if this continues. I mean, because he could finish the season averaging like 18 points, and anyone who finishes the season averaging 18 points when they probably came into the season with expectations of averaging half of that. Like, man, I don't know. I just look at that, and I just look.
He's averaging 13.7 right now. Shooting 40% from the floor. Like I don't think he's going to shoot a high enough percentage to get there, but he's definitely not afraid to take a shot, and he's definitely not afraid to go get a bucket. So if he can eat at the free throw line, and do what he's doing, yeah, he's certainly got a chance.
Wouldn't you say the NBA is like so much ISO, and I would say Melvin Council's the ISO king. So
yeah, he just takes the ball, goes, runs, dribbles around, is faster than everybody. But again, a guy like him, as fast as he is in college, he gets to the next level, those guys are just as fast. So like I could totally see 2026 summer 2026. Melvin Council is on a summer league roster, and he has a Malik Newman type summer where he just goes a Josh Selby type summer, balls out for a team, summer league MVP or team summer league MVP, and then
Doesn't
signs
make
a
the
two-way
roster.
contract, or doesn't even make the roster yet. Goes to the D League affiliate, and he tears it up for a couple of years.
100%. That's what's happening. Book it. I hate to say it,
No,
but like
he
that's
has
so
he has the
true.
look for sure. Yeah, think about it. Josh Selby, balls out over the summer, can't get on a team. Wayne Selden, was that 4 years ago now? He had a
We don't like
really
to talk about
good
that.
he had a really good G League summer league, and then couldn't get on a roster. But I mean, it just tells you how difficult it is to make the league. Like Wayne Selden is plenty good playing overseas. He's also good enough to play in the NBA. There's just that many other guys better that get shots.
Wow.
NBA is fun. I love talking NBA hoops because stuff we don't do enough of. But any other thoughts on last night's game?
Not at this moment. I mean,
Flory also, I think Flory had a pretty solid game. Just has to continue to stay out of foul trouble.
yeah. I mean, yeah, we just got to figure out defensively. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very long 2 months for us.
Yeah, the Big 12 is way too good offensively to like. I think Bill said it Saturday's post game maybe or sometime in the last week. He talked about how this team's going to struggle to win games where it's a barn burner shootout. Like he's like, we're not built to rely on outscoring our opponent. Like if that's not a good way of putting it, but like this team, if they can keep games in the 60s and lower 70s, they've got a really good chance. How they pulled off last night, scoring 104 when they didn't look great. I mean, again, it's an outlier. I don't think that's going to be the norm, but this team probably shouldn't get in that kind of points race because one, the Big 12 has the teams that can do that. But KU, I don't think is, unless you're just getting like what you got last night, where you get 20 from DP in the first half, was it 13 or 15 from Melvin Council in the last 10 minutes? It's going to be a tough ask to go score 85 a night. Somehow Michigan does it though, scoring 100 points a night and holding teams to 60 points a night. I don't know, they're insane, but yeah, Flory was good, 6 of 7 from the floor, 4 for 6 from the free throw line, huge takeaway. And actually, that's a stat we haven't talked about. KU shot 40 free throws last night. They went 30 for 40 from the free throw line. I know percentage-wise, 75% is not incredibly good, but 30 for 40, you better find a way to win that game.
Yeah.
Whereas TCU was 15 for 24. So you got way more opportunities at the free throw line. A lot of that, Darryn Peterson attacking, 13 for 15. Melvin Council, 7 for 10. But having your big man go 4 for 6, near double-double, 9 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. That was, again, offensively, you got a lot of really good things out of last night's game. A lot of good takeaways. Yeah. But defensively, yeah, that's – as much as Bill Self talks about defense and this team's ability to, like their capability of playing supreme defense, the last 2 week stretch has been rough. They've been getting beat in key spots that is obviously going to hold them back. That's really all I had on that. Again, Trey White, good game. Big stretch ahead. You got West Virginia this weekend on the road, 11 a.m. Don't like that.
Oh, I
never like the early
like
Saturday morning across the country. And then Iowa State Tuesday night. That's another thing. I like Tuesday, Saturday split because you get games close together, but then it just feels like
too close.
Yeah, then it just feels like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday just feels like basketball's too far away. Or you have like what you have this weekend where you have a tough road environment early, and then you have to come back to face a top 3 team in the country. That's a quick turnaround, especially for a guy like Darryn Peterson who has had the medical issues and health issues. You hope West Virginia is a less stressful game where you don't have to play DP much because you need him against Iowa State Tuesday night more than you need him on the road at West Virginia, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Do you want to do any like predictions on how this team might finish the year with where they're sitting now?
It's too soon for that, in my
Too
opinion.
soon?
I mean,
Yeah,
well,
too soon
I don't
too,
know.
but
I guess predictions. Did we ever do like a pre-Big
We
12
never
play?
no, we never really did like where's this team going to finish in the Big 12 race or
Yeah,
how many
I
wins are
mean,
they going to finish with?
I'll say this. Overall, I feel like in my heart, I don't know. I guess I just keep seeing the number 6 in terms of 6 losses on the
6
Big
Big
12
12
play.
losses? Okay.
6 Big 12 losses. That doesn't get it done. That doesn't get first place.
So that'd be like 22-10 on the season, I think, or 23-10, something like that.
Somewhere around there. Yeah, and it's scary to think about, but I mean, hey, 12-6. I feel good about 12-6.
Yeah, 12-6 Big 12 record I do like too because I think whoever wins the Big 12,
They're probably going
at least 3 losses.
3 losses for sure.
Yeah.
I would have said maybe you could probably squeak in there at 4.
Yeah, I think you can make that argument because you've got 6 or 7 teams that could do it.
Unless
there's
Arizona
three
just like
teams
falls
at the
out.
top. See, here's the thing with Arizona. I haven't watched enough Arizona, so this might be a bad take by me. I don't know how good they really are until they have to go through this stretch of Big 12 play.
I
Like,
don't
I
know
think
what their
we'll know a
schedule looks
lot
like.
about them over the next 2 weeks.
Is their schedule that hard? Because I could see
No,
them
yeah.
having like a fairly simple schedule, but then like going, I don't know,
They're
what is it,
playing
like 16-2. Yeah,
I mean, dude, they're scoring 90 plus every night. 93 against Florida to start the year. UCLA held them to 69. UConn held them to 71. I mean, they haven't played that many teams. Auburn, Alabama, they played back to back, scored 96 and 97. So they looked really good there. But then you got Abilene Christian, San Diego State, Bethune, South Dakota State, Utah Tech, Northern Arizona, Denver. So you've got Norfolk State. So you've got a lot of bad teams on there. But they got K-State at home tonight. They go on the road at TCU, who's going to be hungry after losing last night. Arizona State, UCF, Cincinnati, West Virginia is their next stretch. So they've got a fairly easy schedule. I think their biggest game isn't until January 26th at BYU. And then they do have a tough stretch. They go Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, Houston, all in the 4-game stretch in February.
Ooh.
So February, we'll really know if this team's as good as they look right now, at least on paper. But yeah, they're ones that I don't know how much I buy. They've looked good in the 3 good teams they've played, but I don't know how much I buy them yet.
I mean, I could see TCU pulling off the upset this weekend. I mean, just based on how they played last night, if they continue doing that,
especially I think it's at
TCU.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there's a chance, but I feel like we're going to say that about most games with everybody in the Big 12 this year. So.
Yeah, you look up and down outside of, even K-State, like, again, as much as we like to make fun of K-State, PJ Haggerty's good enough to go win you a big-time game. I don't think
he's going to drop 50 on us.
Oh, yeah, at home. Yeah. I don't think they can go do it on the road.
Pick me off. He's gonna shoot from half court and make it or some crap like that. I mean, how many ridiculous shots have they put up against us the last 3 years?
But
please no.
It's gone like usual, but that's all I have.
I'm not hurt anymore. I'm used to it.
Yeah, the last 2 years did enough damage to
it really did.
To not be surprised when something crazy happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's kind of how I felt last night, like just seeing KU down by 15 or whatever it was with like 8 minutes to go. I was just sitting there on my couch like, oh, Kansas is struggling again. Like, okay, cool. Like I wasn't really upset or anything. I was just like, oh, we're just not showing up to play defensively. Okay. And
I think it's good you said that. Because again, this was a take I think I had last year. I don't know if I like it that like the last 2 seasons, again, as rough as they were, it's changed my approach where I no longer feel pain if KU loses a basketball game.
Me too. It's
And I
weird.
don't know if that's good or bad.
Oh, it's bad.
That started for me
hear the arguments on
last year.
both sides, but like I wasn't stressed watching that game last night going like I sat there going, this team could lose this game. Yeah, okay. They very well are probably gonna lose this game. TCU's really good. They look way better than us because my expectations have been tampered to the point of where it's like I don't care what they do in the regular season as long as they look good in March. Whereas years past, it's every loss you wear on your sleeve as a KU fan because every game you go into, you're like, we are the better team always, and we should be undefeated.
Yes.
And the last 2 years have just ruined that. So, might be a good thing for your health personally that you're less stressed. The what was it? The heart attack hawks that we called them a couple years ago.
Baby.
You know, the cardiac hawks, whatever. Stressful, going down to the wire. Whereas this team's they're just fun. They're fun to watch. Whatever happens, happens. I think the fact that Darren's been in and out helps with those expectations of whatever happens, happens. If he plays and they look really good, great. If he doesn't play, we're going to see what this team's made of. At the end of the day, it's not going to hurt me if they lose. So I think it is good, but I also don't like that it is that way. I like feeling the pain of a KU loss because that means we didn't live up to expectations.
I am glad though. To put a bow on last night, I feel like it's been a long time since we've had one of those instant classics. And I think last night's game felt like one of those instant classics. We all remember being down 14 points to West Virginia with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. I remember that because I left that game. I was a bad fan. I left the game. I continued to listen to it on the radio.
Maybe you leaving was good luck. Maybe you just had to leave the game in order for them to win.
Hey, national championship.
I don't know. Hey, I did the same thing for the national title game. I was watching in Allen Fieldhouse with everybody, and I left at like halftime, and it was embarrassing. But anyway, I would say this, like instant classics, like we all love the games against West Virginia. We've had games against Oklahoma. I mean, the 1 versus 2. Holy cow!
Best game I've ever been to.
That game will never be topped, ever.
The Kentucky game that same year was also right up there.
The Kentucky game was great.
Rain
we think about those games
off.
all the time. I love this team so much, and it feels like I love KU so much. It feels like we just haven't had a classic game like that in so long until last night. I really think we finally had another classic where it's like we look back at Mason, and we look back at Devontae Graham and just like, oh man, Spee, Frank, Devontae, like all these guys are like part of our souls, and man, they've played some great games for us, and man, the memories with them. There's now going to be a new generation that has memories of Melvin Council, that has memories of Darryn Peterson, that have
and we're only
memories of Trey White.
4 weeks into the season, and
you gotta love
reality.
It.
Yeah, because last year the season was so bad that you forget the 2 classics we had last year, though. Duke, because KJ Adams shut down Cooper Flag for most of that game, and then the UConn game at home. Outside of that, you hadn't had anything else. So, yeah, last night was fun. It was fun. The comeback was fun. Now, hopefully we can win games without having to come back in that fashion because that means we've shot ourselves in the foot.
I don't need a heart attack, please.
But this team's got fight. Like that, I think that's very clear and evident that even if this team's down and behind, they've got fight, which gives you hope for sure. And if they can figure out Darryn Peterson's legs, then sky's the limit. So we'll wrap up there. Been at it long enough tonight. Appreciate everybody that checks us out week in and week out. Don't know what next week will look like yet for episode. I will be traveling for work next Wednesday, so might not have a Wednesday or Thursday episode. We'll see. But 2 big games ahead. West Virginia Saturday, Iowa State next Tuesday. Looking forward to those matchups. Maybe we'll get some KU football talk over the next week with all the transfer portal additions. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you are subscribed if you're over here on YouTube, if you're Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you're checking us out. give us a follow so you can stay tuned for all of our future episodes. But that'll wrap it up for this one. We appreciate you guys as always. We will catch you in the next episode. Rock Chalk.
Rock Chalk.